then go on. But then the lady came to me and she put on her, you can do an Irish. Oh, we're on live.
Yeah, carry on. This is good. Why is it racist to do an Indian accent and not an Irish accent? I was trying to catch Triple T out when he was mid-flow. I hit the live button. Why is that, Omar?
I think me, Triple T, being from South America, I think that even though being this color, I think I can get away with putting on either a South American accent or an Indian accent. I think I'll be fine.
That's
Not too
true.
sure about you, though.
That's true. When you're in America, people think that you're Latin.
Yeah, I think with the brown people, I was just in Turkey. Excuse me for speaking, but wrong time to have a Nutella biscuit.
Your hair's looking lovely, by the way. What were you doing in Turkey?
Turkey, I was in Istanbul, and then I went over to a resort. And it's interesting, when I was on a few people said to me, my Turkish is understandable. It's not so great, but
Teşekkür.
the man said to me at the airport, he said, you speak Turkish? And I said, no, I speak Arabic and I speak Urdu. And he looked at his friend and said, Muhammad Omar doesn't speak Turkish, And I thought, okay. And he's like, why isn't this Turkish guy speaking Turkish kind of thing? But we get that over in Arabia, it's the same thing. I think, and obviously in South America, it's the same thing also. But the brown people, we're in the middle. On one side, you have blacks. The other side, you have whites. You guys, we know exactly where you're from. You are from the originally Western Hemisphere. You have the blacks that are from Africa. No matter, even if they're in Jamaica or anywhere kind of like in those countries, Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago, or in Africa. But the brown people, the reason why you say whites and blacks, you never say the browns, is because we could be from anywhere.
So with brown people, usually it's specified, well, he's from Asia, he's from whichever country or region.
Well, you've got all of South America, you've got Turkey this side, you've got Northern Africa, you've got all over Asia, and there's probably parts in the actual Asia where we've got Nepalese and Vietnamese and so on, and Bangladeshi. So you've got all this sea of brown people, and we have to, if I'm allowed to even state that. But we understand that it doesn't matter if you're black or white.
It doesn't matter.
Well, matters if you're...
Are you going to watch Michael Jackson's film?
I am indeed. What a great man he was, and something that your viewers and your good self probably don't know of Michael Jackson. And not that it matters. I'm just saying this because it's interesting. This man had a Muslim burial. He had a Muslim burial. And it was stated this, yes, and anyone can see on YouTube. And I remember he did. And it would have been a great thing if he came out, and probably people say that on his That's It program, he was going to say that, look, Islam is a religion of peace and I am a part of it. And who knows, it was just his time, I guess. It was just so sad to see him go like that, and Dr. Murray to just sit there and do nothing to assist.
So his brother, Jermaine Jackson, became a Muslim.
Yeah.
Janet Jackson, his sister, became a Muslim. And some people say that Michael Jackson was Muslim as well. Never confirmed publicly.
It's very possible. The reason why it's confirmed for me is because on Sky News they said now Michael Jackson's body has been taken for his private Islamic traditional funeral. So I think that the janaza, as they call it, can be viewed even on YouTube, I believe.
I heard that there was a mosque in America that performed the janaza prayer for him in absentia. Is it ghaib they call it, when you pray for someone who's not there?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just a commemoration, and some people, I spend my whole day texting people on Instagram, responding to all these messages on YouTube and on Instagram, certainly. And I'm thinking, this man, Prophet Muhammad, sent his followers to Abyssinia, and they said that this is a righteous man, a king, an honorable man. He will assist you in so and so. And when he passed away,
the Najashi, right? The Christian king in Abyssinia.
I'm glad you said that, not me. But yes, he was excellent pronunciation, by the way, if I may. And,
you have to be very careful. One letter wrong and it means something completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm on that side with everyone should be allowed to say anything. Freedom of speech. And I think that you've seen Piers Morgan and the South American lady who was on not long ago, where she called Shabana Mahmood a dirty Muslim
The P
Pakistani.
word, did she? Or she was having a go and saying she's Pakistani. And Piers Morgan is saying she is born in England. She's as English as I am. And Piers Morgan, I think his family come from Ireland at some point or another.
Like our friend Tommy,
Like Tommy, right? Yeah, so many of these Irish people try to be more English than the English, unfortunately.
Well, you see, the thing with that is the English and the Irish, I mean, the heritage is really the same if we're far back enough, I think. So you're going to have...
Is it? You're going to offend a lot of people.
I may do, yeah, I may do. I think it goes back, and one of your interviewees who called you all sorts of names when he perhaps was drunk and you interviewed him and you were, I think Jordan M, you were reprimanded in a way, where there was a video and you explained why you interviewed him. And Jordan M was like, no, you shouldn't have interviewed him.
I remember you reacting to that. Well, you were in the park at the same time, right? Or you came the next week to sort it out?
No, I think I was the week after. I don't think I was there.
We had to bring you down. You came down there.
Yes, sir. And that person stated, I remember him saying when you were interviewing him, he said that, and I believe you had an Afghanistan t-shirt on at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may remember. And he said to you, when you questioned him and said, look, but you're Irish. And he said, yeah, but going far back, we're saying...
wait, no, we're getting two different drunk people confused here. But there's quite a lot of them in the park. But the gentleman you're referring to now is Braden. And Braden does have an Irish name, is of an Irish background. And he, was a very... I like the guy. I've got time for him. But he was very angry. You're right. And identity was a bit confused.
Yeah, but you being white have that right to call yourself English. I feel that people who have a little bit, especially in the summer as we tan, people of Indian, Asian, Arabic origin, I think we don't have that right. I'm entitled to refer to myself, and so is Shabana Mahmood, as British Asian. I think when I make it a singular, I am British, it just kind of negates everything, all my color and all my history and everything. I think that people do a disservice on themselves. We should be proud to be British Asian. That's it.
Without saying that you're English.
Yeah, we can never be English.
Never.
Well, unless it's consistently winter and we become lighter, I don't think we can.
I don't know. Being English it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you don't get an English passport, but it's difficult to define and easy to recognise. If you grow up in England and or your family are from England, you're going to feel a degree of Englishness. But I take your point that perhaps being British is more all-encompassing, rather like you get Irish Americans, Italian Americans, so-called African Americans, because we don't know which parts of Africa their ancestors actually came from, and you get English British people, British Asians, as you describe yourself.
When you have black people, when you have a black person like Godfrey, the comedian who came from Nigeria, and you have a black person who is the, I guess, progeny of slaves from 400 years ago.
Okay.
How do you refer to them as? You have one African American. What is the other one? Is he African American?
Wait, are they Americans?
Well, yeah, if they were born in America, I guess in that sense they're American. But the one that his ancestry came 400 years ago, how would he be addressed? And I think...
Well, I think that this term African American came about as a politically correct term, or yet another term for the black people in America. Black used to be an insult. Coloured people used to be the politically correct term. Hence, we still have the NA is it the NACCP,
Double CP. Yeah,
the
double
National
CP.
Association for NAACP,
Advanced colored people.
National Association for the Advancement for Coloured People, which sounds very archaic when we hear it now, but that was politically correct in those times. Then there was the movement to reclaim the identity of black, and black is beautiful, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, and people embraced being black when before it had been an insult. And then this term African American crept in. Some people embraced it, some people don't like it, from what I've heard. But I remember being at university with a white American girl from, I'm going to say the West, somewhere the Midwest. I don't remember if she was from Texas or one of those Bible Belt type states. And she was trying to describe someone to me, and she said, what do you guys call African Americans? I'm like, well, they're not American, are they? They're black people. Black people. It's always funny when people whisper.
We call them the N-word. That's what we call them.
Well, hopefully not. But the identity, it's always a broad spectrum, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, we don't always being ironic with that statement. What I was referring to when I mentioned African Americans, as Randy Marsh, 1989, has stated, he or she, he prefers to use the term African American.
Thank you, Randy. Randy, why do you prefer that term? And is Elon Musk an African American? Because he has South African heritage and he has an American citizenship. Is he an African American? Is someone whose heritage goes back to Morocco, where Triple T spends a lot of time, are they African American? Africa does not equal black, and black doesn't always equal African. I wonder, Omar, do you remember a comedian? I say remember, he's still around, but I haven't heard from him for a long time. Omar Hamdi. He's a Welsh Egyptian comedian, and he was there the night I broke onto the scene in Rumi's Cave. When Fatiha was there, I was there, and he was also...
And you did a fantastic job, if I may say so.
Well, thank you very much, Omar. I've been trying to top that for 8 years. It hasn't happened yet. But I'm hoping to break onto the scene like others have. But Omar Hamdi, I saw him live in a different venue, and he is a Welsh Egyptian from Egyptian origin, grew up in Wales, and he said when he was in America, people were asking him what race he was or whether he was black, and he said, "Well, I don't know. I'm Egyptian. I'm African. Does that make me black? Does that make me white? What am I?" He couldn't decide. And they said, "No, you're not black, you're not white. You are Mexican." Because anyone in the middle could be taken to be a Latino, or because over there that you're more likely to meet a Latin person than an Asian person. So I guess that's what people...
I'm not sure if any of your viewers have been a part of, and I remember actually watching Omar Hamdi here in Luton. He had one good joke, indeed, the X at the end joke. I don't know if you remember that, but I want to state to you, for your viewers, that stand-up comedy is indeed the hardest thing to do. It is so difficult. And I remember when I used to regularly perform, Monday I was at Luton University, did the same nonsense, everyone's laughing, hilarious. Tuesday I was in Ramada Jarvis Hotel, everyone's laughing, same nonsense, it was great. Wednesday I went to St. Albans and nobody laughed. And it was horrendous, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to react. And it was tough. And
you sounded like Craig David.
That's my favorite song. But this song ends on Wednesday, because on Wednesday it was so unbearable. I remember
you couldn't survive till Sunday.
I couldn't survive till Sunday, but I took a turn into poetry. at the back of my mind, I always had this kind of thing where I need to do poetry. I have a message. I want to spread that. And I remember then thinking, hold on, either I can go back into stand-up comedy and continue this and just, I was hurt so much on that day that I didn't know where to go, what to do. And I turned the corner and started to perform poetry rather than comedy. But comedy indeed is very, very tough. And until you've had that experience, you probably don't know what I'm saying. And for you to continue performing when no
So
one's laughing,
the same material that had done
exactly the
well
same.
bombed because of a different crowd, or what?
Absolutely, 100%. That's exactly what happened. And I had all three events recorded. That's exactly what happened. And the audience makes or breaks you.
So what, you'd done well at the Students' Union, but then you'd gone to a working men's club, or who
Well, I
were you?
went to Ramada Jarvis Hotel and it was
Yeah.
perfect there. When I got to the Crown, a private room in Crown, probably about 25, 30 people there.
Is the Crown a pub?
The Crown is a pub, but it wasn't. I mean,
Get
when
him
you get
off.
older, I know when you get older, you don't really. People think, okay, it's a pub. People are gonna be drunk. You might get the one or drunk there, but majority of the people are absolutely fine. It wasn't that kind of drunken crowd, and it was very, very tough. It was bombing. I think you have to go through it. Every comedian must bomb for you to succeed in comedy. And especially with your good self, sir, you
As
have
a
a lot
brown
of
man,
talent.
can you stand up and say I really bombed last night and there's no issues there?
Well, I think being a Mexican or somebody, Randy's saying, I had 6 months in Arizona, majority of the population are Mexicans. They frequently use the word of African American, I cannot repeat here on YouTube. Okay. But Randy, what's the difference between Mexicans and African Americans? You look pretty much the same. It's the same kind of thing. Myself growing here, I was referred to as black, and I believed I was black until 2001 when that event took place. And then I became an Arab immediately.
As I might have mentioned this before, I spent some time in Jordan. It's an Arab country, and there were some Americans that I was staying with. One of them was a American Pakistani or a Pakistani American girl who, in America, since 2001, as you say, had probably received insults like "you're an Arab, go back to Arabia," blah blah blah. The sort of Islamic anti-Arab sentiment, even though she's not Arab, but being Pakistani over there is close enough to being Arab. When she finally landed in the Arab world in Jordan, she was perceived as an Indian, Hindiya, the Indian girl. So you can't win sometimes.
Yeah, it's very difficult for us. India has such a negative connotation. Pakistan, you visited Pakistan. You're probably one of the first white people to ever visit Pakistan, I think. I'm not sure if that's some sort of record, but you visited and I watched your blogs and they were absolutely brilliant. And I'm sure they probably have millions of views by now. I need to go back and check. But it seemed like you had the time of your life. And it seemed like my visit in Pakistan was exactly the same. Pakistanis honored me and I had a very negative connotation. I stayed there a week, probably the same time as you, probably stayed a week or so. And I thought people were loving, care. Everywhere I went, it was perfect. Everything. But in my mind, I had already perceived that they're going to be dirty and horrible and they're going to be, begging for money. I had such perceived kind of notions in my mind already set. And I think because of that, people who are Indian or Asian origin, we want to distance ourselves. And this is why we say we're British. This is why that lady, when they said Ya Hindiya, she would have been Ya Naam, Ana Hindiya, and she didn't. She was kind of like, oh man, but I'm American, Shabana Mahmood is saying, oh, well, Piers Morgan referred to her as, oh, don't call her Pakistani, she's British. No, you can be both. Why can you not be both?
Yeah, that's worth remembering. And that South American woman was very dismissive of that. But just as Shabana Mahmood has a different origin, so does Piers Morgan. But because he is white, you're English then. Irish background, English, doesn't matter. A generation. If you don't have the accent, we're not going to notice it. In the chat, Randy is saying you can definitely be both. So, is Randy? Are you American, Randy? You said you liked using the term
Yeah,
African American, so I take it you are
yeah.
American.
Well, we don't say that here, so I'm pretty certain Randy is. Who else we have? Um, yeah, so now what we have, just very quickly, I'm sorry to turn this a bit religious, if I
Yeah,
may.
go
On
on,
your
go on.
last show,
Inshallah.
Mr. Julian, you said, when I mentioned that Mohammed the Prophet, it's all about being a good person and so on. And you said, well, there's a statement saying that if you don't do your prayers, and perhaps some Muslims listening, they can clarify this.
Yeah.
You said that when Prophet Muhammad said, if you don't do your prayers, which I don't, and I wish I did, but I don't, factually speaking. If he said, according to you and according to Hadith, that he said that if you don't do your prayers 5 times a day, that's the difference between you and the believers. Now, I want to just quickly say that was a time when you had people at war. You had people praying and you had people not praying. And he said, look, the difference between us is that we're praying. So they would wake up at 5 in the morning and they would move on to the next territory, I'm assuming, and do their prayers and go on. He said, what's the difference between the believers and non-believers?
Why do you keep bringing this up, Omar? Is it playing on your conscience?
Yeah, no, regarding praying, I wish I could do the prayers. I wish I could wake up 5 in the morning, start my day, do the prayers, and throughout my day, do the ablutions and do the prayers. But in fact, I do honor it and I respect it, but by me not doing it, I don't see myself as doing something wrong.
Make the intention to do it and you'll do it. Make the intention and you'll do it.
Oh, no, so Randy's saying he's Northern Irish. Not sure why he would refer to as black people as African American.
So Randy Marsh, he prefers the term but to use for other people. Oh dear. Perhaps that's a Northern Ireland thing. Good man yourself, Randy. That's interesting. I prefer the term. In Ireland, black can mean Protestant in some contexts.
I believe the word taig is used for.
That would be a derogatory term for a Roman Catholic, and there you've got the Orange Order is a Protestant fraternity, I suppose, but there's also a black one as well. I can't remember the name of it. You've got the Apprentice Boys of Derry, the Orange Order, and then there's the Black Preceptory. Tell me in the chat, Rory, was that his name? Randy, sorry. What is the Black Fraternity in the north of Ireland? And Randy's saying that his family are a mix of Catholics and Protestants. Best way to be,
that's good.
Randy Marsh. That's what we like.
Absolutely.
A bit of integration.
I don't even think that's impressive nowadays. I think that's something that we can obviously congratulate, but it's not really a thing anymore. It's not that there's that tension between.
Well, in
but then
Ireland,
again, we say that
it probably is.
Probably Northern Ireland. But how do you differentiate somebody? Everyone looks exactly the same. You go like, is there anything that?
Tell that to Randy. He will say, I can tell one a mile off. It's to do with surname, to do with what school did you go to. In Ireland, people will suss it out of you by saying, and what school did you go to? And if it's Saint someone or other, then you're a Catholic.
Then it's on.
But there's,
my experience in Ireland has been absolutely fantastic. The people were very lovely. I stayed in Cork, the 6 Mile Bridge, down in Dublin, all that sort around that sort of area, and had a fantastic time. Irish people, absolutely fantastic. I never went to Northern Ireland, and the people that I know that have been to Northern Ireland, they were like, they felt scared. And I think that I do also feel a tiny bit, I wouldn't say scared necessarily, but I do remember a British drunken man in St. Albans where I was, came to me once and said, why are you killing British people with this strong, thick Irish accent? And I was thinking, dude, you think you're British? You know, he's like, why are you killing us British people? And I go, okay, so I was taken aback. So those people there do think they're British. No, he was referring to himself. Why you lot killing?
Well, we've paused Omar there. I don't know what he's talking about.
But it was very unusual hearing somebody with such a thick Northern Irish accent, referring to themselves as British. Is that something that you think is common, or is that a rare experience?
Well, roughly 50%, maybe it's slightly less than 50% now, we don't know, of the people in the 6 counties would be of a unionist background, as in they want to retain the union with Great Britain, they want to remain part of the UK. And the remainder of the population, look, not everyone aligns one way or another, but roughly speaking, unionists want to remain part of the UK, nationalists or Republicans want to join, they want to have a united Ireland.
Why do you think they want to divide? Why do you think they want to separate from England?
Well, why did India and Pakistan and all those countries in the British Empire want their independence? And
Exactly.
Randy's saying his family come from Scotland, his clan come from Scotland. I mean, look, that part of Ireland and Scotland used to be one civilization. There was an ancient kingdom of Dalriada that spanned
So we've got
across that part of the Irish Sea.
Cable Dog is saying Christ. I'm not sure if that's, oh, Christ, this is happening, or if it's, I worship Christ. Not sure about that. We've got, we may have some trouble. We've got Civi Baltasteros, because we are Irish. So we've got a little bit of a kind of maybe a little bit of a situation with Randy.
Let them fight it out. Look, in the era
Not British, there you go.
of self-identification, if you want to live in Ireland and feel that you're Irish,
of course, welcome,
feel that you're British, good luck to you.
Okay,
Personally,
so
I hope it all becomes one.
Yeah, of course.
one day.
I mean, understandably, we all want peace and love. Now, we have from our friend Randy who's saying, I'm definitely not British. So he's definitely understanding. And we've got another Irish lady saying 800 years of occupation may have something to do with it.
Yeah, I would agree, but I acknowledge that there are people that feel British, that have a British identity, and I think we need to find a way for them to be able to preserve that and respect that in a future unified, united Ireland. Could we say the same in Palestine? Will there be a united, unified, one state, peaceful Palestine in the future that may include people that would have formerly called themselves Israeli, that are happy to stay and become citizens of the one unified state? I don't know. It's not for me to say. That's something that might happen in future. For you?
That may not be for you to say. But what is something that you should be saying, and I'm sure you are saying, that cutting off electricity, water, and food for an entire nation like that is a horrific thing to do. And our Prime Minister on the Nick Ferrari show says, yeah, of course they can. So when you're dealing on that level of power, how can there ever be peace? Now, I don't care about the two states necessarily. I just want peace, and I'm sure you do too.
First and foremost, yeah, absolutely. But I think you need some kind of a resolution. You've brought up our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and we're going to talk in code now, and we're going to tread very carefully. But I would just ask you, are you aware of the story about Keir Starmer that is hardly being covered in the news?
Yeah, I am fully aware of it, and I understand why it's not being covered, because it's not really his fault. He has a team that does that side of things, and they didn't do what they were supposed to do. And just to add on, in addition, we've got at Cable Dog NI4BX saying, take that Muslim's teeth. I'm not sure what he means. Does he mean like American X, where the person put his mouth on the curb? Is that what he means? Or does he mean, is he a dentist?
Maybe. I hope not. No violence here. Okay, just on the Keir Starmer thing.
Yeah.
The viewers may or may not be aware that a while back, some Ukrainian models, male models, set fire to Keir Starmer's property. George Galloway specified that it was his back door, which I believe is correct. Why? And I put it into Google News. You know, when you Google and
Yeah.
then you click news and the articles come up. Hardly any coverage at all. But right now, the court case is going on, so we have to be very careful about how we talk about it. I'm treading carefully, but Keir Starmer had his property set fire to by, I think it was 3 male Ukrainian models. I'm just going to leave it at that, but it is very, very strange that
Are you
story
insinuating that
is not.
Are you insinuating that they were models
No.
and that's why they were let out?
No, I don't know. I'm not insinuating anything. Just find it a bit weird. Randy Marsh is saying Sinn Féin tarnished the tricolour for most Northerners. If we ever unify, it won't be under that flag. You might be right. If you believe in a united Ireland, perhaps a new flag would be a small price to pay.
Our king's uncle, he lost his life on a boat. Was it a boat or a plane or on something? And
Mountbatten.
Yeah. And that person who was responsible, and I remember King Charles saying, "This is insurmountable pain. I can never get over this." So that guy must have been one heck of a great uncle. Probably 20 years later, they were in government together. Who was that person? Was it Gerry Adams?
Gerry Adams, the leader of Sinn Féin. He's not the leader anymore, but he's still sort of on the scene. You'll hear from him now and then. I think in the north, it's Michelle O'Neill that is the leader of Sinn Féin, and Mary Lou MacDonald.
How could a party, when King Charles is saying this is insurmountable pain, they took this away from me, how is it that then he can shake that person's hand years later? Is that a great thing?
Well,
or is that something that we shouldn't have done?
And
I'm sure Randy has an opinion on that, a strong one too.
Who was the guy in Speaker's Corner that was saying the king's a Muslim? The king's a Muslim. Not Tommy Robinson, but Danny Tomo, the working man's Tommy Robinson.
Why can't anyone just worship whatever they want to worship? I don't. Even if the king's Muslim, so what? Let him be Muslim. What is the issue here?
Well, we shouldn't be worshipping people, should we?
Well, sorry. In what sense? I'm sure he doesn't worship a person. In Islam, the worship is for apparent God. So it's nothing to do with the person. I'm saying is King Charles is a Muslim, so he can be a Christian and a Muslim at the same time, can't he? Because Muslims believe that it's the same line of divine.
Could possibly, you'd have to reject certain practices or beliefs that came, or that many Christians hold, but I don't see why not. King Charles is a Muslim, so is Michael Jackson, apparently. We're revealing it all tonight.
We've got Rodos Erdogan saying male models. Now, would they have been arrested? Yes, they were male models, but would they have been arrested if they were female models, more so, quicker, thoroughly in jail forever, or female or male? What is the significance? I know George Galloway, I watched his show, and he did state male. Is it better to say male models than just 3 good-looking guys? Perhaps they're not models.
I don't know, but the whole thing is a bit weird, and I don't want to say much more than that. T. Tapau is saying the issue is most religions have bad histories, especially towards indigenous. Yeah, we get this a lot with what's happening in Iran at the moment, and people are very quick to say Iran was not a Muslim country. Islam was enforced, and we were originally Zoroastrian, which may be true, and perhaps that there was a lot of wrong done in that way, but every country has a previous religion. Great Britain was not always a Christian country.
The thing is, when it comes to people saying that Islam spread by the sword, you can't really spread a religion certainly Islam you can't spread by it. So because the Quran says there is no compulsion in religion. You've heard the verses.
Yes,
To
but
you be your
people
religion, and to be
people did. We have to acknowledge that, right?
people may have, but overall they couldn't have. If the Quran, if they're doing their prayers, and in the prayers they're reading, there is no compulsion in religion. You can't force anyone to come into Islam. It's wrong. It's right. So if you're saying that every day, and then you're going to do exactly the antithesis of what you're saying, it doesn't make any sense. So overall, that couldn't have been done. It may have been done with a few people here and there.
But, you know, same with the Christian religion, spread by force at times. We know that the enslaved population from Africa, many that were taken to America, many were Muslim at the time and forced to become Christian, hence why the likes of Malcolm X, Malik Shabazz or Muhammad Ali embraced Islam as a way of harking back to their ancestors.
Absolutely. We've got T. Tapua Roberts R50 saying, I lived in Dubai. Most Muslims are caring now. It's very rare for me to read something on the internet where it's something positive about Islam. All day and all night, it's nothing but negativity for Islam for some reason. I don't know why people have this negativity. And I think it's just stirring up trouble for no reason. People don't really know. Maybe they're just born with this hatred towards Islam. And after a while, it does become suffocating because, you know, I'm in that religion and I don't do the things that they say. We've got also T. Power Roberts R50 saying, I'm from New Zealand. Welcome to you from New Zealand. Are you indigenous?
Yeah, I wonder what his heritage is. And he lived in Dubai. Trappy is saying Iran was Zoroastrian and many Persians migrated to India. Lots of famous Persians from India like Ratan Tata. I don't know Ratan Tata. Do you know who that is, Omar?
I think Ratan Tata is the billionaires club who left all his money or most of his billions to charity. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Good
Mr. D2 Trappy.
And of course, Farouk Bulsara, Freddie Mercury, probably the most famous member of the Parsi community, Zoroastrian. These descendants of the Zoroastrians that left Iran and fled to India.
And one of his famous songs, he states Bismillah, which means in the name of God.
He does mention that. He does. That's right. Bohemian Rhapsody, if I'm correct.
Absolutely, and it's very rare. I'm sure you'll agree to have a Maori on your show. So I'm happy the Maori gentleman is here.
Robert is Maori. Fantastic. What a proud culture, and we're proud to have you on here.
It'd be safe to say that you and I know nothing of the Maori culture. Is that correct, sir?
Nothing. I don't even want to stereotype, other than the tattoos. Is that Maori?
Yes.
Culture.
Yes, and is it the haka? The haka? Yeah.
Well, so the Maoris are the indigenous population of New Zealand, but I think there was even an older previous population prior to them.
Absolutely. So we've got Mr. Trappy here saying that I do have many friends who were previously Muslim but left Islam now. I hear many Muslims, and I watch them on their shows, and is it the Lantern that I watched today, where for 20 minutes the Muslim guy's trying to catch out the person, the ex-Muslim, whether to prove whether he was Muslim or not. And the questions that he was asking, even me as a devout Muslim, I wouldn't know. I hate it when people do that. Now, what's interesting, Mr. Too Trappy, I want to focus on why they left Islam, because if there's a good reason, I want to leave Islam too. So if there's a good, and this is my thing with the ex-Muslims, is let's talk about it. We're people, you're a person, I'm a person, we're all both in different communities. Let's talk about it. One of us is right, one of us is wrong. Let's come to a mutual agreement somewhere down the line.
And so often they will try and catch them out and say, if you're really Muslim, what is such and such a question? And it's a question that a Muslim should know. What was the question that you didn't know?
And how many ruku is in the prayer? But it went on for 20 minutes, the discussion, until they got into the main stuff. Now, I don't know whether, I mean, I think I wasn't sure if the prostration is a ruku or the standing or the bowing is the, see, I would, as a devout Muslim, I wouldn't even know. So, you know, and I
But when it
dislike
came
it
to
when
it,
they
I'm
try
sure
to
you
catch
would.
them up.
Ruku is going like that, is the leaning forward.
It's bending or
And would that
bowing
come
in
from
that sense.
rukub? Rukub is the knee, isn't it?
Yes.
And
Yes.
rakab to ride something.
Yeah,
So,
rakib, yeah.
Rakat,
Yeah,
the
well done.
plural of how many times you go into ruku.
Yeah.
And
ruku. But I mean, at the time when he mentioned it, I mean, I guess it just didn't click on. I was thinking it's more the prostration, but I wouldn't know how many. I wouldn't know how many the bowing thing there are in a prayer. I wouldn't have a clue. So it's just these questions, and they're trying to catch him out. It's
2 in Fajr, 4 in Dhuhr, Asr, 3 in Maghrib, 4 in Isha.
Yeah, but there's that's part of the prayer, and then there's lots more like behind the prayer. So it does get a bit confusing.
But he's asking how many rakat in each prayer.
No, how many ruku?
Well, ruku is the singular, rakat is the plural.
I would have thought ruku is just bowing down.
I know, but
I don't know.
Why are they called rakats? What's the etymology?
I can't say.
In the chat, if you're an Arabic teacher, is rakat the plural of ruku, as in the leaning forward and putting your back straight enough that you could hold a glass of water on your back? Let me know. We've got a message that was held for a review. Better not click on that, as it might be rude. On the other channel, as we're dual broadcasting, Wisdom is Mine says, if you miss one, you will be sent to hell.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, this is where me and that gentleman, we need to sit down and have a discussion about this, because either I'm right or he's right, or we're both wrong, or he's wrong and I'm right, if that makes any sense. That's a sketch somewhere, isn't it? So I respectfully disagree with that gentleman.
Two wrongs don't make a right, Omar. Just do your best. And
well, it depends on the severity of the first wrong, doesn't it?
Yes, that's true. We can try and cancel it out. News is saying rakat, ruku is singular. Okay, yeah, I thought so. And sujood, going down, the prostration.
What's the part when people put their hands on their knees and kind of bend over?
Ruku.
I thought that was a ruku.
That's
ruku.
And sujood is going to the carpet or the floor, whatever you're praying on. And other parts of the prayer. Qiyam, standing up, like in Yom al-Qiyamah, when we will all stand up. Randy is saying, the core of each and every religion is good. Nitpicking the bad cannot change that fact. A world filled solely with non-believers would be hell on earth.
I don't know.
Well,
you can have good non-believers, can't you?
Well, and look, this word non-believer, what do we... That's an English term, isn't it? Not believer and non-believer. The Arabic in the Quran doesn't say non-believer would be what? Mu'min, someone with faith.
Absolutely, yeah.
But a believer is not a non-believer is not غير مؤمن. What's the word for non-believer?
Well, it's a K word that I don't want to use, because that K word is worse than the N word in South Africa. I don't know if there's any South Africans listening, but the K word has more significance than the N word. And it's interesting, the K word went from 1942, when the people from the Muslims from Northern Africa, or I guess Southern Europe, were expelled, and some of them just ended up in Africa and further down South Africa. And they say today that the K word is the worst word that you can use, and the origin goes straight back to 1942. So calling somebody the K word is worse than the N word.
So it's an Arabic term that crept into South African vernacular.
Yeah, and it got worse. It's like, it's the worst thing that you can ever say to anyone. It seems.
Well, the etymology of the Arabic comes from the word to cover up. So the literal or the original meaning would have been someone that knows the truth and covers it up, rather than just someone who doesn't believe. It's someone who knowingly covers the truth. And I think when you understand it that way, it kind of changes the meaning a little bit. That's why it's important when you learn about any religion, any philosophy, to learn the terminology that it came with, because we can read through a very sort of English lens and translate words into our own language, and then it's got our own implications, hasn't it?
I think they call it anachronistic. So when you use your thinking of today and you take it all the way back there, then it's unfair. Presentism, I think they call it also. Similarly,
that's a good word.
They referred to, and all day I spend responding to people about the age of Aisha when she married Prophet. Now, if you were to Google the age of life expectancy in the year 620, would have been about 624 when they got married, it was 30. The life expectancy was 30, and the last 5 years, understandably, would have been illness and so on. So
are you sure? Are you sure? I thought people in those days lived to 900 and things like that.
No, they wouldn't have lived to 900.
Well, I'm exaggerating, but in what we have of the Bible, there are people that live to 900 and 800 and.
Yeah, but they may be referring to 1 year as 100. We don't know. They may have lived till 90, perhaps. But the point is, the book, the Bible, has been changed so many times. I don't know if I can accept it as actually a fact of any sort. I'm sorry to say it, there's any Christians out there.
Well, that's okay. For the age thing, you can get bogged down in it.
Well, we've got rising. My eyesight's terrible nowadays. Rising to shine. Aisha was 6 years old. It's written Hadith. Yes, who's the Hadith written by? Hadith is not actually the Quran. So we've got Hadith, and fine. I'm saying that the age at 6 and they got married at 9, but life expectancy was 30. At
where
25,
are you getting that from, Omar? I don't think life expectancy was 30.
I'll tell you where I'm getting it from. I'm getting it from where I get every single thing from.
Google.
The Google.
Not
so I'm getting it from Google now. Absolutely. If someone there is more intelligent than Google, then that's fine. I accept it.
I don't think life expectancy was 30 back then. Are you talking average? I know a lot of people lost their lives younger in battle or whatever, but I think if you lived a healthy life without being taken out, you could live. I don't think lifespan itself has actually changed that much. The Bible, again, if you want to talk about the Bible talks about 70, which is 20 times 3 plus 10, 70 years old.
Sir Clement lived till 122 in our lifetime. In our lifetime, 1997, she lived till 122. That was the last year, 1997. Now, just because it was her last year doesn't mean that it was our. We're gonna live that long. Our expectancy is 80-ish if we're very, very lucky. Google is saying that the average age was 30. Now, if you've got some more knowledge, you can just say, I've got a hunch, I accept it, but we have to go through, unless Google...
We have to listen to Google.
I should stop. Well, I have to stop following. I can't...
Life expectancy doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the age at which people mature. And...
I disagree.
Look, on this channel that we like to listen to Sheikh Imran Hussein. You may disagree or you may agree. He dismisses that hadith and he says if a hadith is in conflict with the Quran and the Quran
Yeah.
talks about marrying women, not
Yeah.
girls, not children,
Yeah.
but women. And as he says, if you think that you could be a woman aged 9 years old, you should take a one-way ticket to the moon. He dismisses
No, I agree
it.
with him.
I dismiss it
dismiss
also,
it.
but if someone
I
else
dismiss it
disagrees,
too.
that's up to them.
No, I don't accept it as well. I do dismiss it too. But I
But
have
you're
to
trying
be
to
fair.
justify it by saying that life expectancy was 30.
Yes, and it's not just me making that up. As I say, anyone can Google
But
it.
what's
We all
that got to
believe
do
in
with it if you don't accept the number?
because if you don't, no, I do. I don't accept that age. I don't believe that she was that age when she got married.
So why are you bringing up the average life expectancy?
Because I thought it's something that we have to talk about. We had the gentleman before mentioned.
I don't know how they actually would calculate life expectancy.
We hear this. We see this all day. Yeah, if our life expectancy was 30, at 10, would we be like the 10 that we were?
Maybe
surely
not.
We would be mature. We would have been way mature, surely. Google's not.
It doesn't really. I don't think that anyone will ever be mature at 9 years old, even if you're going to die at 11.
So let's slow this down. Okay, so we've got a 10-year-old now. Yeah. Now let's take that 10-year-old to the year 1926. Okay. Do you think that 10-year-old back then, would be the same as the 10-year-old that we have now?
Maybe not, but I still don't think that.
No, it's impossible. They would have been up and down the chimneys. They would have more life experiences. God knows they would have done so much. It would have been mature. Agreed?
Okay. So you do accept it? Is that why you're saying this, or
No, I don't accept it. I'm saying that life expectancy is undeniable. We have to base things on life expectancy.
What is the life expectancy now in the UK? What is it now?
80, if we're very, very lucky, 84, but 80-ish.
Okay. And is that for people born now or people turning 80 now?
No, currently, no, for us. But they say that the person who will live forever, allegedly, of course, has been born. So I'm not sure. Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Who wants to live forever? That's Freddie Mercury. The average age, the life expectancy in the UK, I think it was 82 during a recent event. And I think the average age that people succumbed to that event was 83.
Okay.
That was, and we don't have to talk about that, but it always sticks in my mind.
And if I may respond to Rising to Shine, says Aisha was still playing with dolls. Come on, dude. Okay, so I've got comic books here, and someone in 1500 years from now can say that I had comic books. I was a kid. So people they have collectibles. So she may have had them. And as I say, not that I'm supporting that. Obviously, I personally don't believe it was that age. So I'm just giving a different point of view. Okay, so what do we have? Back to you, Julian.
Well, in the chat, Hassan is saying to Randy Modern, anachronism lends weak argument. I don't know what that means. I
think Mr. Net, what he's saying is that if you think of with our lenses today, we think back then it's a weak argument.
All right, I've got a question for you. Going off at a slight different tangent. Okay.
Let's do it.
And you've been training in the gym recently. You've been focusing on your strength. You can handle yourself. How old is the youngest person in the world who could beat you up? Come on.
Well, may I say, I've had about 5 months out of the gym.
Don't need your excuses, Omar. I want a number.
I think probably a 10-year-old that knows karate could probably take me down.
I want
with weapons.
No, there's no weapons involved. It's hand-to-hand combat.
I think a trained kid could actually do damage because I wouldn't have a clue. I would just run for the
Are
person.
you saying 10 years old? Forget life expectancy for a moment.
Yeah, I think a strong 10-year-old that trains and
What about a
knows.
9-year-old? Again, we're back to
my
9-year-old.
mind,
Not a 9-year-old?
my mind's gone back to Japan. Like, they're flipping around all over the place and training after school and all day. So you got 10-year-olds with little abs popping out and stuff.
Okay.
I think those little Jesus
Okay,
do some
Omar.
serious damage.
Next question. How old is the oldest person in the world who could beat you up?
The oldest weightlifter is 102 from what I saw the other day. But I think I could take him if it came to it. But I think the 70-year-old big guy could actually do some damage. The 70-year-old big guy.
Okay. And who would win, the 10-year-old versus the 70-year-old?
I think in that case, the 70-year-old, because that guy's got so much muscle, the 10-year-old wouldn't be able to do anything. He wouldn't be able to move in because it's the weight category, you see. That's why we don't put Manny Pacquiao in to fight Tyson Fury.
Yeah, true. Don't know, it was just a random thought exercise that came to me. And I do train with some killers. Some of the young generation in our gym are getting really good now. Kids 15, 16, they're far from fully grown, but the technique is just becoming so slick that I'm really struggling.
And you haven't experienced being fat.
I would love to experience it.
It's trying to lose weight. You've always been slim. You're one of the lucky guys. And it's hell, because I can't stop now. I could show you packets of crisps and chocolates, and I just can't stop. And then I can't wear what I want to wear. And then I just feel fat. And that, I don't know what you laugh. I hope there's no fat people in watching this, but it's hell. Being fat or being just around the belly and so on. Although I did improve a lot, but it's just a very tough thing, to losing weight regularly and not eating sugar, especially if you have an addictive personality.
But now you've done it. And you've lived both lifestyles.
Absolutely. I'm sorry that I broached the subject, but on your chat, you've got lots of people, Hassan and geography and historian, and all this. I find that interesting. I'm happy that they're having this conversation, and I'm happy that people have this interest. I have zero interest in that. I don't know what's that about. Maybe we all have interest in different things. And perhaps they're into that. Maybe it's historic, and I respect them for having this view. But I think, look, none of us know. And we can all sit around and agree on something, can't we? We can agree that we don't know for sure. And if somebody has proof, let's talk about it. Let's look at it.
Like you say, we've all got different interests. We've all got different motivations. I was accused of being lazy recently.
I still am.
Well, there you go. But I reframed it and said, look, not everyone's motivated to run a YouTube channel or go swimming 3 or 4 times a week, which I do. I'm not a great swimmer, but I go to the pool, or I train martial arts a couple of times a week. There are things I am lazy about because I'm not motivated to do them. And there are other things that I do that no amount of motivation could persuade anyone to do because their heart's not in it and they don't want to do.
I don't think you would be put in the category of laziness if you're going swimming and jiu-jitsu and so on.
Well, exactly, but I'm lazy when it comes to other things.
Yeah, but those things probably don't matter too much.
Well, as you say, we've all got different interests, and that's why on this channel we like to bring people together from different walks of life and anyone. Dieter Power is saying a gay king with a wife. Not sure who he's talking about.
I think he's referring to Prince Charles and his.
Probably that's probably what he's talking about. Yeah, definitely.
And his rest in peace, Diana. She
Absolutely.
was amazing.
Let's not even broach that subject.
Well, we'll find out. I think we've got another 45 years until these secret files will be released.
Is that right?
So we'll know.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I'll have to live to a ripe old age. So we better start looking after ourselves.
Exercising.
Folks, it's been Lessons for Life on a Monday night. Really appreciate Triple T joining me and all of you guys.
Pleasure.
We were here and we are gone. Laters. Thank you and good night. And over on Sarah Dardasha, thank you to you as well. See you next time.